let's flash back a little bit to this quote from Brodie Van Wagenen during the 2018 All-Star break. And reminder, he was not the GM at that point. He was representing Jacob deGrom. Jacob has expressed interest in exploring a long-term partnership that would keep him in a Mets uniform for years to come. If the Mets don't share the same interest, we believe their best course of action is to seriously consider trade opportunities now. The inertia of current situation could complicate Jacob's relationship with the club and creates an atmosphere of indecision. Well, he's wearing a different suit these days.
Or different hat.
Different hat of BVW. And to hear Jacob deGrom, and I appreciate how he answered that question thoughtfully and sincerely, saying, I'm not as confident as a Met fan. I don't feel great hearing that, Tom.
Did you recognize him? I wasn't sure that was him with the beard.
The beard.
I think this is until he signs the extension, he's going to let it grow. But, you know, Brodie, I think, has got some pressure on him. I know he has kind of, you know, gotten himself out of these negotiations because of the potential conflict there. But last year at the trade deadline was not the time to push for the extension, right? In-season extension. You know, those are very difficult to pull off. What happened, though, this guy went on to one of the great seasons in recent memory, wins the Cy Young Award. Now is when you make that commitment. I don't think there's any reason not to reward Jacob deGrom. The way he throws the baseball, the mechanics, the way he's represented the organization. To me, Dan, this should be a no-brainer, especially as he related to. There's so many extensions now going on around the game. This is someone who should never throw another pitch for another organization. Developed by the Mets into a premier pitcher, he now has given them, I'm going to give him 4 years of proof that he has elite stuff. This is not just a one-year guy. I'm not sure why this is not done already. To me, it's a 5-year contract. I'm not sure you give him Chris Sale money. I think Sale probably has a longer track record and a higher level of performance. Not by a lot, but enough. So below 30, high 20s, you want to go 28, 5 years, get it done.
Yeah, well, you and I talked about that. I agree completely. It's a confusing situation to me. It's the one situation going in this transition that could create problems. I don't know why. I mean, the Mets have had such a great winter, in my humble opinion, in everything they've done. But getting this guy signed, he not only is a great pitcher, he represents everything that's good about our game. He's a tremendous family man. He's got great no off-field issues. He prepares himself well. He's a student of the game. He's going to continue to get better in what he does. It is confusing that they could be locked over. There is risk. I understand there's risk involved in signing starting pitchers to long-term deals. But this is not a reckless decision. This is a good, smart baseball decision. This has a chance to be a distraction where there doesn't need to be one.
Well, let me ask you this. Sorry, Stephen.
No, you're okay.
You've sat in that chair. Does Brodie's history representing Jacob complicate it? I thought it would make it easier to get a deal done. Does it complicate it?
Well, it complicates it based upon whatever discussions he's had with Jacob of what he thinks his worth is. And that I don't know. But if the worth that was talked about is different than the worth they're talking about now in the chair that he's sitting in, but ultimately, Brodie as the GM is not the owner of the club either. I mean, these type of decisions eventually get made or signed off at that particular level. But there could be a difference of opinion now as Brodie looks at things from a totally different perspective in the role that he's in now versus representing the player. But this is just one. Going into hiring Brodie as the GM, you knew this one contract negotiation had a chance to be sticky, let's say. And for me, it's something that should be taken off the docket because this guy's earned it, and it doesn't need to be sticky. It should be clarified. It should be negotiated. It should be done, and they can go on and have a good season.
And I love that you said that because as we rattle through everything there is to know about Jacob deGrom, and you guys peel through and dig through information better than, and I can't find a box that isn't checked by this guy.
It's just the age. That's the only thing.
It's just age.
Age 31 season now, so you're projecting out to someone in their mid-30s. And we know the industry doesn't like to do that. But you can certainly look at people like Scherzer, like Lester, like Hamels.
Like Verlander.
There's a lot of other examples out there where the elite pitcher, based on stuff, mechanics, and work ethic, continue to be elite pitchers.
And we're getting to a point in our industry where everybody's risk adverse. I mean, when you sign a free agent, there's some risk involved. You sign extensions, there's some risk involved, but there's also a ton of benefit. that goes with those commitments too. And sometimes I think we're losing that aspect of it in our discussion about players like Jacob deGrom. I love the guy. I'm all in. I'm running that team. I'm signing the guy because he represents for me what I want every other young pitcher that comes through my system to be all about.